Go Tim.
Imagine a world without cars, airplanes, laptops, cell phones, motorcycles, security alarms, or anything else that runs off portable electricity. If you're like most of us, you wouldn't know what to do with your free time, much less be able to perform your daily activities. That would be a world without batteries. And while batteries power many aspects of our lives, people usually give them little to no thought, and many don't have a clue how they work. I'm currently employed at Batteries Plus in Mesquite, Texas, so I handle hundreds of batteries every day. And I'm very surprised at how little people know about batteries. So I'm here today to explain automotive batteries, how they operate, including overall design, chemical reaction, and varying types. To begin, we'll examine the major components of a typical automotive battery. The most obvious part of the battery is the housing, which is essentially a polyurethane plastic casing that holds all the other components. This type of plastic is very resistant to sulfuric acid, which is contained inside the battery. The housing also includes the vents, like this, that cause gases to escape due to solvation. The vents can come in a variety of forms, but the main ones are either an open spout like this, that's on the side of the battery, or multiple holes in the top that are usually sealed and only open when pressure is built up. Another important part of the housing is the fill caps, which are located here, 6 of them for each cell, and that's where they put the initial acid fill into, and if necessary you can add diluted water if the fluid levels are low, and that'll help maintain the battery. The next piece to examine is the 2 terminals, which are the only part of the electrical process that is outside of the housing. There's a positive terminal, or cathode, and a negative terminal, or anode. The electricity runs from the positive terminal through the 6 cells and out to feed the vehicle from the negative terminal. It is important for proper battery maintenance to keep the terminals free of corrosion by a wire brush and anti-corrosive spray, and to make sure that any leads tightened down onto the battery are as tight as possible. The final and most important part of a lead battery are the lead plates inside the housing. The battery is divided into 6 individual cells that each have alternating lead and lead dioxide plates. Soaking in a solution of sulfuric acid. In between the alternating plates are envelopes that also assist in the electric flow by ensuring that there's an even coating of acid throughout, and they're filled with the electrolyte, which is the sulfuric acid. All of these elements combine to form a standard 12-volt sealed lead acid automotive battery. And next we will examine the chemical process that take place inside the automotive battery. At a molecular level, the hydrogen sulfate, or sulfuric acid, combines with this lead plate to form lead sulfate. This action releases a hydrogen anion and a negative electron, or excuse me, the hydrogen is a cation and this is an anion. And it bonds with the lead dioxide plate, which is positively charged. And it transfers through the electrolyte in that manner. And this happens a number of times in each cell to produce 2 volts per cell, and each cell combines to produce the 12-volt output of a regular car battery. The most important difference between this type of battery and another typical battery is that the charge is reversible, meaning that when the alternator reverses the charge through the negative post, it rebonds the hydrogen to the electron, and it floats back over, like here, to the lead plate, so the process can begin again. Many of you might be saying, if that's true, then why should I ever have to buy a new battery? But there is a certain part of the process that prevents that. As I mentioned earlier, when the hydrogen detaches from the sulfide and the sulfide attaches to the lead plate, it creates lead sulfide, which is part of the sulfation process. This covers the lead plates and actually causes the electrolyte to solidify. It also releases gases through the top of the vent post. This is why the vents are necessary, because they release the water vapor and the sulfuric gases. Now that you know how they work, we can take a look at the varying types of different automotive batteries. Even though most batteries have the same general construction, there are different ratings of lead-acid batteries. Although every car battery uses 12 volts, some engines require more power than others to start. A rating of this power is known as cold cranking amps. The amps can be increased by adding more overall lead to the battery, so a higher CCA rating will usually mean a larger battery. However, some batteries can be the same size, but higher rating, because they're able to make the plates thinner and add more lead per cell, thereby increasing the cold cranking amps. Another way to increase power is by using absorbed glass mat or AGM style batteries, which is the only other chemistry of lead-acid automotive battery. Absorbed glass mat batteries have glass envelopes instead of regular envelopes that are crushed glass, and it causes better conductivity and vibration resistance. And it also is made more resistant to sulfation, which can give it a longer longevity, because this is the only process that basically kills the batteries. A proper knowledge of your vehicle and the various types of batteries will help you in selecting which one you need and how much power is required. So now, after listening to my speech, if your battery ever dies, you should be able to build a new one. You should be able to recreate the overall design, including cathode, anode, electrolyte, housing, vent caps, or vents and fill caps. You will be able to understand the chemical reactions, including electron transfer and sulfation, as well as determine the type of you need and the required power for your particular vehicle. In reality, I do not expect or recommend that you go out and try to build a battery, but if you ever get stranded in the desert, with the right materials, you should be able to save yourself.
Yeah. All right, Tim.